بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to another session of التعبير القرآني. But before we continue where we had left off yesterday, I just had the idea that maybe we need to discuss amma and brush up on جملة شرطية, just to understand what جملة شرطية is in Arabic, and also just amma and what amma means, and so that perhaps we can be able to understand what comes after. And then if we have some time, we can continue with the text, inshallah. All right. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what shart is. Let's begin with understanding what a shart is. A shart in Arabic is something that connects one matter to another. So it connects or joins one matter to another. So you have two like phrases or two situations or two statements or two things, and they're being joined together. And the condition being that the second thing cannot happen unless the first thing happens. So that is the whole idea of what a shart is. Okay, the second thing cannot happen if the first thing is not fulfilled. So the first thing has to be fulfilled, and then the second thing is fulfilled. That's the idea of shart. Is that idea clear? So that's the main essence
Yes.
of a shart. Okay, so now we come to amma. We know what amma means. Amma means as for. Now amma has one main function, and that is حرف شرط وتوكيد. That is the function of amma. If you're going to do the i'rab of amma anywhere, you would say amma حرف شرط وتوكيد. That's how you're going to describe amma. Just like when you see إذا, or when you see in شرطية, or when you see من شرطية or ما شرطية, مهما, all these أدوات الشرط, if you see them, you would say حرف شرط. Okay, or أدوات الشرط, or اسم شرط if it's an اسم, right? So you would describe it like that. For example, if we're to look at أما سعيد فمجتهد. So it is a حرف of شرط. So أما would be حرف of شرط. سعيد, this will be part of our condition. And I'm going to explain a little bit what mean, because I know that's where the confusion is. fa is the fa that comes with a جملة شرطية. fa الرابطة, or it's also called fa fa الجزيء, remind me, fa الجزاء.
فسببية فجزائية.
fa جزائية, fa الجزاء. Yeah, so this is the fa that is called fa الجزاء أو fa الرابطة. And basically it just connects the jawab part to the shart part. All right. It could also serve as harf of tafsil. I think this is something that Sakina mentioned yesterday. Now, what does it mean, harf of tafsil? Harf of tafsil literally essentially just means when you have so many things that you are explaining. So for example, in the example I've given here, at-tullabu sunuf. The students are different categories. Students are different categories, or they are in groups. فأما المجتهد, so you have the kind of that, you have a group that is hardworking. فناجح, he will succeed. وأما اللاهي, and the one who's not hardworking, the lazy one. فمخفق, he's going to fail. وأما فلان, for this. And as for this group, they will go through this. فأما this. So that's the kind of tafsil. It offers details or explanation of something. So you mentioned something, الطلاب صنوف, students are in groups or in different groups. Then you have this group and you have this group and you have this category and this category and this category. That is tafsil. You are providing explanation for the categorization that you mentioned. All right. So that is what tafsil is. This happens a lot in the Quran. You will see this a lot in the Quran, and that's why amma is called harfut tafsil. It's called harfut tafsil. Amma and imma, both of them, they're called hurufut tafsil, because they provide details, they provide further explanation on something that you have mentioned. All right. So let's go back to the shart part. So if we're to say amma sa'idun fa mujtahid, As for Sa'id,
Sister Lam,
then he,
Sister
yes.
Lam, Sister Lam, just one question before you go ahead. So if you take this as harfu tafsil, these two are different. Am I right to understand this?
No, it's the same thing. It's
It's
not
the same
different.
thing. Oh,
Yeah.
so we are talking about the purpose of it?
Yes. Like you know how
Oh,
it can have different functions, different meanings, but it's the
okay.
same thing. Yeah. It
Okay,
will
okay,
still be
okay.
harfu shart.
It will still be, but by mana, it will be like tafsil, right?
Yes. Yes. And we will look
Okay,
at the ma'ani. We will look at the functions and the meanings in a bit. But it is still
okay,
harf of shart. Yeah.
okay. Jazakallah khair.
Okay. All right. So for example, now if you're to understand it as a shart. So remember we said that a shart has two parts. The second part cannot be fulfilled unless A is true, unless A is fulfilled. Right? So when we say أما سعيد فمجتهد, what is the first part? Sa'id. So the condition, it has to be Sa'id. If I'm not talking about Sa'id, then the second part cannot be fulfilled. So if I say فأما Muhammad, that's going to be a different condition. The second part is going to be something else. فمجتهد only applies to Sa'id. So this second part that is our jawab has to do with Sa'id. So the condition has to be fulfilled that it has to be Sa'id and not any other person. And that's where the condition comes in. That's where the shart bit comes in. So as for this, then this. Or in the case of this, then this. Or however you do this, then this. Whichever adawat of shart you use, the idea is that the second part cannot be fulfilled unless the first part is fulfilled. So if I substitute Sa'id with anything else, then the second part cannot be fulfilled. And that's why we are calling this Jumla Shartiyya. That's why we are saying Amma is adatu shart, because it gives us that kind of condition. I hope that understanding of what a Jumla Shartiyya is in Arabic has set in, and now you understand how Amma is adatu shart. Is that clear?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, great. All right. Now, so they sometimes say that in meaning, not in lafd, but in meaning, it stands in the place of mahma, which is another adatu shart. So it comes in the place of mahma and its adatu and its fi'al shart. However, this substitution is only in meaning. For example, in the Quran it says, فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. As for the orphan, then do not harm them. Yani, the meaning becomes, we'll come to the harf of tafsil soon. Just, yeah, we'll give an example more. So the meaning, the implied meaning is مهما يكون من شيء فلا تقهر. Whatever the case is, do not harm them. Yeah? Whatever the case. So in meaning, this is kind of like how they understand it. But we understand it. It's easier to understand it as for. If you understand it as for, it's fine. As for the orphan, do not. So in whatever case it may be, do not. That's what is kind of implied there. Now, important thing to know about amma is that nothing comes between amma and its fa. So we know jumla shartiya, you have the adatu shart, something that comes between maybe a fi'al shart or whatever, and then the fa arabita, right? That's the structure we are familiar. So we are saying nothing comes between the amma and its fa except an ism. You cannot have a fi'al. You cannot say amma yadhabu. No. Amma ya'kulu. No. Amma al-kitab. أما الولد أما السفينة أما الشيء, it has to be an ism or a whole جملة شرطية. So أما in, for example, here in the second, this is in شرطية. أما إن كنت مسافرا فعناية الله تحوتك. If you are a traveler, then the protection of Allah will surround you. So you see what comes between the imma and its fa? جملة شرطية. This is in شرطية, إن كنت مسافرا. Right? And of course, the jawab of inna is mahduf in this case. Of in, sorry. The jawab of in is mahduf. And this part is the jawab of amma. So that's if it's a jumla shartiya. But most of the time you would see an ism. And I think that's where most of you are confusing. Oh, it's a mubtada. Of course it's a mubtada because it's an ism. But it doesn't mean that this is not a jumla shartiya. This is still a jumla shartiya, but it's not coming with a fi'l. Because most of the time we are used, the jumla shartiya has three parts. It has the adatu shart, it has the fi'l of shart, and it has the jawab of shart. So we are conditioned like this. So when we see an ism, we are confused. We're like, wait, where's the fi'l? We're expecting a fi'l. No, with amma, it does not come with a fi'l. It comes with an ism. So that's probably the difference also, another difference. So amma sa'idun, amma kitabun, amma qalamun, amma muallimun, fa muntaliq. Right? Then he is leaving, or he has left. He's leaving.
Barbarous. Well, just want to confirm if my understanding is correct. Then in kuntum, when amma comes, jumla shartiya can also come between amma and its ta,
Mhm.
or just an ism. Is it correct?
Yes. Yes, that's it. Right. Yeah. And just like I was saying, if it comes with jumla shartiya in this case, the jawab, this part, most grammarians, they've argued, they've said, okay, where's the jawab? This jawab, is it the jawab of in, or is it the jawab of amma? What is the jawab? So most of because they said amma has to have a jawab. Amma cannot come without a jawab. It must have a jawab. So because it must have a jawab, so they said this jawab is for amma. And the jawab of in is mahduf. The jawab of in is mahduf. That's how they would probably say it if it comes with that.
So, well, in that case,
Alright.
amma supersedes in if they both together comes.
Yes.
In we can imagine as this jawab is mahdhuf, whereas for amma it is not possible at all. It has to come with it.
Yes. Well, okay. We'll come to how it can be mahduf also, but yeah, the priority goes to amma. Let's just say that. Yes. That's majority of the grammarians say that. Of course, if I say majority of the grammarians say that, I mean that there are others who say no, that this jawab is not for amma, it's for in. I mean, either way, it doesn't really change the meaning much where the jawab goes. The meaning is still the same, right? Now, it always needs a jawab and always comes with a fa. This is amma. It always needs a jawab. It always comes with a fa, unless with every rule, there's an exception in Arabic. So yeah. So we know every time we say always this, then there's except. So that's what is happening here. So it always comes with a jawab. It always comes with a fa, unless there is a hadf in the sentence. What do we mean there's a hadf? There's something omitted. There's something hidden in the sentence. All right. This is an ayah in the Quran. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ اسْوَدَّتْ وُجُوهُهُمْ. Where's the fa? Where's the jawab? What is happening? We see another sentence. أَكَفَرْتُمْ بَعْدَ إِيمَانِكُمْ. It feels like something is missing. Let me translate this for you. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ اسْوَدَّتْ وُجُوهُهُمْ. As for those whose face turned black, as for those whose face turned black, have you disbelieved after your belief? Wait. It feels like something is missing. Let me type it out so that you can probably see. As for those whose face turned black, have you disbelieved after believing, or after your iman? When you read this sentence, you kind of get a sense that something is missing here, right? Like this, look, as for those, third person, have you, second person, what's happening? Something is missing. It feels like here, this is like a maqul al-qawl, like something was being said to them. It was said to them. Have you disbelieved after believing? So you see a whole sentence is kind of like omitted, right? As for those whose face turned black, it was said to them. Or it will be said to them. Or it is said to them. Yeah? because this is happening in the Day of Judgment, so it will be said is more appropriate. Now you see an entire sentence is missing, which is, now this is the part of the jawab, which is kind of like the example we are dealing with in the book. Yeah, the jawab was missing. So because the jawab was missing, there was a hadf, then you can see that the fa is also missing. Right? We didn't have a fa in our example in a ta'bir al-Qur'ani. And we'll go back there and just clarify this point. So that's one reason where you can have a hadf. Okay, and it has happened, I think, several times in the Quran. Or they can just take a poetic license. So some poets, they'll be like, it doesn't rhyme very well for me to use the fa, so I'm just going to omit it because it doesn't sound well. So if you're writing poetry in Arabic, you have the poetic license to omit the fa. Those are the only two reasons where you can have the jawab and the fa missing. Is that clear so far?
Alhamdulillah.
All right. Oh, okay. So we are coming almost to the end. So, so maybe I should explain the what is it called? The tafsil bit, because somebody was asking. I thought I had more notes about it, but I don't have. So probably I should explain the tafsil. So when we say, what is tafsil? فَصَّلَ يُفَصِّلُ تafsil, to provide explanation, details, to explain something in further details. So the example here I have, الطلاب sunuf. Students are in categories. Students are categorized, if you will. Students are categorized. Then I provide more explanation what these categories are. What do I mean by students are categorization? So I go on to say, فَأَمَّا الْمُجْتَهِدْ. Now, see, I'm providing explanation, right? So as for the one who is hardworking, then he will succeed. As for the one who is lazy and is not hardworking, then he will fail. As for the one who tries, then he will get what he is. So I'm trying to explain the different groups that are there. I think it is there in the Quran. I'm trying to remember the example. فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ. There's a shorter one. There's a shorter example. Let's see if I have the example somewhere else. Yes,
I think
yeah, go on.
Surah Duha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go with فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. Although, is there categorization there? Is there sorry. Yeah, I'll show you how to do the Arab in a bit.
Why yatima is mansoob here?
Yeah, we're gonna do the Arab right now. Let me hide the notes.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think.
Okay.
If somebody can find the ayat where there's there's something mentioned and then there's details of that, please post it in the chat as I look at the Arab. I can't, there's an example that was on my mind, but for some reason I have forgotten it. Maybe if we go through the Arab and then I will try and remember. So you've probably had, if you're watching Ustaz's lectures or if you've attended Jum'ah sermons, you've had the Khatib say, Amma Ba'd, or even just in any lecture, they'll say, Amma Ba'd. So how do we understand this Amma? Like there's no fa, there's no jawab, what's going on? How do we do the i'rab of it? We will still say the amma is حرف التفصيل وهي شرطية غير جازمة. So it's still شرطية, but we know it's غير جازمة. It does not make مجزوم, right? And then the بعد is the ظرف. We know بعد is a special مضاف. That means it's a ظرف متعلق. Forget all this stuff you don't need. مبني على الضم. It's good to know later, but for now it's not really important. Now, why does it have a dhamma? Because it doesn't have a مضاف إليه. مقطوع عن الإضافة. It doesn't have a مضاف إليه, so we say أما بعد. It's not like if it had a مضاف, then we say أما بعد قولي, after my speech, and then after my speech, then this. أما بعد قولي, then it will have a fatha. But because we don't say the qawli part, the mudaf ilay, then it has a dhamma. All right. And now, if you're going to say that, if you say amma ba'd, what do they normally say after amma ba'd? فَإِنَّ أَصْدَقَ الْحَدِيثِ. Don't they say that? Fa. So they bring in the fa and they bring in the jawab. So you see it's amma, it's shartiya. As for what comes after, then فَأَمَّا فَإِنَّ, and then they will go on and then we'll continue with the khutbah. Right? So next time you hear the ustad or anybody else give a sermon, pay attention to what he says after amma ba'd. Right? So that's how you do the i'rab of amma. Now, let's look at فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. How do we do the i'rab if we see amma in a sentence? Now, the easiest thing is just to ignore amma and the fa. Take out the amma, you know, like the template where we have ma illa, in illa, that negation template, and we do the i'rab, we take it out, and we just do the i'rab normally. Same thing with amma. Just take out the amma and take out the fa, and what do you have? You have the sentence, al-yatima la taqhar. Now, this al-yatima here is the maf'ul bihi muqaddam. It's like saying la taqhar al-yatima. So it's mansoob because it's the maf'ul bihi, and it is muqaddam here for ta'dim, for emphasis, for giving it importance, if you will, and for ihtimam probably, and ta'dim, I don't know. I haven't checked the reasons, but it's probably to give it importance, right? It has been brought forward. There's taqdim. You remember, if you bring something forward, there's something special happening. So there's something special here happening with al-yatima. Al-yatima la taqhar, especially the orphans, do not. Yeah, so there's an importance being relayed there. So that's how you do the i'rab. It's really easy. Just take it out of the equation. Take the amma out, take the fa out, and do the i'rab as normal. Any questions? Is that clear? Let me see if maybe I have examples. Anyone else? Maybe I'll look for the examples in the Quran and post it in the group. Yeah, مفعول به مقدم. This al-yatima will be مفعول به مقدم. So you'll say فاء حرف عطف, أما is حرف الشرط والتوكيد. If you want to say that it is التفصيل للتفصيل, you can do that as well, no problem. اليتيمة, you would say مفعول به مقدم. Then فاء, this would be فاء رابطة or the فاء الجزاء. Of course, لا الناهية, this is لا of forbidding, and that is why تقهر is مجزوم. Yeah, تقهر. So لا of forbidding, and then تقهر is a فعل مضارع مجزوم بلا. It is مجزوم because of that. It's kind of like how you do the i'rab of it. Is that amma clear? So that we can, any questions on that?
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of ayahs, but I don't know. They have labeled this as harf tafsil, but I
Yeah.
think we'll have to look around what's happening before the ayah. So then they have this Surah Baqarah 26, and then they have Surah Al Imran number 7, and then 56, 57, Al Imran 106, 107. But I don't know what's happening before these ayahs. But they
So-
have labeled them as tafsil.
Yeah, so tafsil, we've said tafsil is basically offering explanation. Like as for this, then this, as for this. So it's explanation. But it doesn't prevent amma from being shartiya. It is still shartiya.
Oh, okay.
Got it?
Because I'm thinking they have divided it into two groups. I was actually looking for amma, and they have divided it into two groups. One, the section is as an explanation, and number 2, condition.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Even in
Yeah.
tafsil, it's still a condition.
Hmm.
Because you
So,
still have the condition part and the jawab part.
Okay. So as I understand it, so amma by Arab it will be taken as a harfu shart, okay?
Yes.
Now by Ma'ni it can differ, right?
By function, yeah, by mana or function, then
Yeah.
it's still tafsil. It's still offering an explanation. Like it's not like imma. You see, with imma has more functions.
No, by mane, it can be tafsir, it can be tawqid, right? So tawqid does not
Yes.
mean necessarily as that. So there can be a distinction over there, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Am I getting it right? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
you're
Because
right.
we do
Yeah.
see lots of instances, by Arab something is labeled as something, the why it has been used away by mane, it is different. So they do make a distinction when you read the Arab.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, but most of the time you just see that they say it's
yeah,
للتفصيل,
yeah.
and it is حرف شرط. Yeah. Most of the time they'll just combine the two things. They won't really distinguish.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's right.
that's a
Yeah,
very,
cool.
very good explanation. Alhamdulillah. We learned a lot. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase your ilm, make it nafi'ah. And I would request you to read through the Amsa also because they are not following this rule at all. I don't know why.
Yeah, you see,
What suggesting in Amsa is that the ism coming after Amma should always be marfu. Okay. And then the second condition is what they're saying is that the khabar that is following with the fa, there should be a zamir somewhere inside that sentence to connect it to the marfu ism. So this is how they are playing around. For example, if you see this for amma yatima, according to their construction, it should be for amma yatimu. Okay.
mm,
Then wala taqharhu. There should be a who here going back to the yatim. So this is the structure they are following. That is why I got confused. What is happening?
yeah. To be honest, I think EMSA, to be honest, I stopped studying EMSA a long, long time ago. And I think they try to oversimplify things for just communicative purposes. And maybe in that sense they lost some kind of information, because I get the way they explained it as a topic and a comment, and I don't know, they went on through this other making it rafa. It's not necessary. Most of the time it will be rafa because it's the mubtada. أما الكتاب فاقرأ. يعني that one will still be nasab. uh, for example, أما سعيد فمجتهد. That would be مبتدا خبر. سعيد مجتهد. مبتدا خبر. Fine, no problem. But if you have a جملة فعلية like أما اليتيمة فلا تقهر, this is لا تقهر اليتيمة.
Yeah,
You know?
they are disregarding
Yeah.
this muqaddam concept, right?
Yes.
So I think in the contemporary Arabic, they have lost track of some of the rules also, right?
Probably.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Jazakallah
that's the
khair,
idea.
sister.
Well,
Very
yeah,
good.
and maybe
Alhamdulillah.
some other day.
No,
Yeah.
Sima Mo.
Go on, Fahima.
Sister Ilham, this فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ, this one is al-yatima, this is the maf'ul bihi muqaddam, right? For
Yes.
taqhar.
Yes.
No.
مفعول به مقدم. Yeah. All right. So I think now we understand this amma in our text. So فأما مخاطبة. So you can see now this one is followed by a jumla ismiya, and that's why we are taking it as a mubtada, because it's followed by a jumla ismiya. Where had we stopped? I think we had finished this whole section, but I just wanted us to clarify the idea of amma and how it fits in a shart sense. And yeah, obviously you can see here our jawab was missing the fa and the huwa because something is mahduf, right? The huwa, the mubtada, is mahduf. So that's why the fa was not mentioned, right? Yeah. So that's the only condition where you cannot have the fa and the jawab. when it's mahdhuf, when it's hidden.
Okay, Sister Halam, if you
Mhm.
find it easier, or if you are not running short of time since you are leading the session, can we just quickly, can you just label out the things and let's hear it out from
In this
Amma
section?
to from Amma.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Maybe I should clean it up a little bit so that we don't get confused by all this. So much, yeah. Okay. I think that's good enough. So we've talked about amma, and we've said that amma is your harf or حرف شرط حرف شرطية or حرف تفصيل, and it's شرطية. And then of course now what comes after it is going to be your shart part, and it's either mubtada or depending on whatever comes after it. Now if it's a jumla ismiya, you have your mubtada. Okay, so مخاطبة إخوانهم مضاف إليه to the mubtada, and then فيما أخبروا به في حرف جار ما اسم موصول. So now we're studying a jar majroor here, متعلق. Okay, and this متعلق is connected to this مبتدا. It's متعلق it's connected to the خبر, which is محذوف in this case. So this is متعلق بالخبر. So the chain is still continuing. So فيما أخبروا ما اسم موصول, أخبروا صلة الموصول, أخبروا به, we said أخبروا comes with به, so this به, this متعلق is connected to أخبروا. عن, again another متعلق that is connected to أخبروا. Okay, أخبروا عن ماذا? عن أنفسهم. It informed what they informed on what? On themselves. So حرف جار أنفسهم اسم مجرور that is connected there. من الثبات أخبروا عن أنفسهم من الثبات على اليهودية, again من, going back to أخبروا. Alright, so another jar majrur. So you see أخبروا has like a chain, several jar majrurs connected to it, and that's why we are still saying this is one continuous chain. It hasn't stopped, because the jar majrur, it's like they're just hanging. You hang something on something, and then you get another thing and you hang on it and you hang on it. So they're just متعلقين, like علق, they hang on this, hang on this, hang on this, right? So that's kind of like what is happening here. So من الثبات, ثباتي على ماذا? على اليهودية. So this على goes back to الثبات. So it shows establishment or firmness in what? In اليهودية. وحرف عطف connecting to الثبات. القرار, establishment of firmness. Firmness in what? على اعتقاد الكفر. So this على goes to القرار. Again, you're just hanging on to things. You're taking this and you hang on. Yeah, you're doing متعلق يعني. You get what I'm saying. So على اعتقاد الكفر, again واو حرف عطف. Now you're still connecting اعتقاد الكفر, القرار والبعد. You're connecting this to this. البعد, distance. Distance from what? من أن يزل. So this من goes back to البعد. So you see how that's connected. أن يزل, they slip from where? عنه. So this عنه goes to يزل. Right? Now على صدق, seems like there's a break there. أن يزل على صدق, to slip upon truth? No, doesn't sound right. So that tells you that here there's a break. So this whole part is part of the mubtada, like the shart part, if you will. That's where the condition ends. So if all this condition is fulfilled, then what? Then فهو على صدق رغبة ووفور نشاط. Then, so now this begins our jawab part, if you will. And of course, there's something missing. That's why the fa is not mentioned. Like we said, imagine there's a fahuwa there, which is mahdhuf. So فهو على صدق رغبة ووفور نشاط, جار مجرور, مضاف مضاف إليه, وحرف عطف, مضاف مضاف إليه, وحرف عطف, مضاف sorry, this is just connected to that. Yeah, معطوف. And then للمتكلم جار مجرور connected to ارتياح. And then به جار مجرور connected to للمتكلم. Yeah. This is how you use jar majroor like a pro. Like, do you know how many jar majroors? Like, the guy just kept on hanging, like taking jar majroor and just adding and adding and adding. Jar majroor, jar majroor. Yeah.
Okay, so what we are doing here is like, okay, we'll just put amma in a bracket. So مخاطبة إخوانهم is a mubtada, and the string started from fima to anhu
Yes.
is actually mutalik bil khabar. The khabar is not there.
Yes.
So, and then this whole is the jumla ismiya, which is attached to amma, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then in the half, we have another jumla ismiya for which the mubtada is assumed
محذوف.
to be there. Huwa.
Yes.
And then from Allah to mu'allil mutakallim bihi, this is a whole big giant mutallik bil khabar, right?
Yes. Fantastic. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. I should have said it like that. That was so easy. I went into so much detail that I think I confused myself, maybe even. Yeah, that's an easy way of putting it. Yeah. مبتدا, this part متعلق, and this part متعلق to a مبتدا محذوف. Just that. Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Maybe we can do just this one sentence, or if we're able to do up to here, because it's rather easy. Maybe just this one sentence. I know we've taken quite a bit on this page, but I think it's important to we learned quite a bit, because the other part is a bit easy to read. So it's fine. No, it doesn't matter how long we take. All right. Anybody wants to read this section?
Yeah, can I try to?
Yes, go ahead.
This one. ومن لطيف الاستعمال ومن لطيف الاستعمال الفني للفعل والاسم قوله تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الله الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرا. سورة الغافر.
Beautiful. But قوله, not قوله. قوله.
قوله, yes. قوله تعالى. I said قوله, I'm sorry. قوله تعالى.
No, that's fine. All right. Yeah. So ومن لطيف ومن لطيف sorry, let me read that again. ومن لطيف الاستعمال الفني للفعل والاسم قوله تعالى الله الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه والنهار مبصرا. Okay. So what is he saying? He's saying, and from the like beautiful usages, artistic usage of the fi'al and the ism. We're still talking about the fi'al and the ism. Guy is obsessed. Anyway, from the beautiful artistic usage of the fi'al and the ism is this statement of Allah, قوله تعالى, this, right? So there's really not much. This is like the beginning of the discussion that we'll probably cover next week. Why Allah has used لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ. He's going to go into details to explain why not لَيْلَ سَاكِنًا, for example, جَعَلَ اللَّيْلَ سَاكِنًا. Why لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ? And the nahar, he says مُبْصِرًا. And why did he not say وَالنَّهَارَ لِتُبْصِرُوا فِيهِ? You know, so why a fi'l here and why an ism here? That's the point that he's going to go and explain, inshallah, and we'll read that next week. So maybe you can just do the i'rab of this, and we still have time. Okay, then we can continue. So Fahima, you want to continue reading?
Yeah, inshallah.
Okay.
فاستعمل مع الليل ليل الفعل لتسكنوا فيه ومع النهار الاسم مبصرا. Sorry, isma. This should be isma. This is the part of that مفعول. Yes. ومع النهار الاسم مبصرا ولم يسوي بينهما فلم يقل ساكنا ومبصرا ولا لتسكنوا فيه and ولا تبصروا فيه ولتبصروا فيه مع أن استعمال الحقيقي هو لتبصروا فيه.
Exactly. Yeah. So فاستعمل مع الليل الفعل لتسكنوا فيه ومع النهار الاسم مبصرا ولم يسوي بينهما فلم يقل ساكنا ومبصرا ولا لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقي هو لتبصروا فيه. So he's saying he used for the night he used لتسكنوا فيه. When he mentioned the night he mentioned لتسكنوا فيه. ومع النهار he used the اسم مبصرا ولم يسوي بينهما and he did not equate the both of them. He did not like use both اسms or both فعلs. فلم يقل he did not say ساكنا ومبصرا. So here he did not say ساكنا and مبصرا, make them both اسms. ولا لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه, or he did not make both of them فعلs لتسكنوا لتبصروا. مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقي هو لتبصروا فيه. Despite or given the fact that the realistic way of saying it would have been لتبصروا فيه. So الليل لتسكنوا فيه والنهار لتبصروا فيه. Makes more sense. That's the more realistic way of saying it. Yeah. So that's kind of like what he's saying. So maybe we can break down the Arab of this.
Sister Lam, one second.
Yes.
Can you please say again 1 second? مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقي هو. What did you say about this? Instead he could have said
given that he could have the realistic way of saying it, or the way of the realistic usage, if you will, is لتبصروا فيه. مع أن this kind of template you can use it to say despite or given that the realistic usage is لتبصروا فيه, or even with the fact that the realistic usage is لتبصروا فيه, or despite the fact that the realistic usage is لتبصروا فيه.
Can I just tell you, I was trying to figure out this one this morning. Instead, he's trying to say that this instead of these words, it could be had written as لتبصروا فيه instead of لتسكنوا فيه. Is it trying to say that?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
I'm just trying to say مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقي, it means like instead, despite of these لتسكنوا لتبصروا, instead of in the ayah it is there لتسكنوا فيه. So is the author was saying like actually it should be لتبصروا فيه?
Yes, instead of مبصرا. Instead of مبصرا.
Instead of مبصرا. How did you get it, Sister? I was thinking this one. How did you get it? It is for the مبصرا. Okay, basara. Yes, correct.
Okay, you got it. All right. Yeah, because if you change مبصرا to جملة فعلية, you will get لتبصروا.
Yeah. My bad. I didn't see it that way. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Yes, actually, yeah, Saima, you're right. This is حقيقية because it is منسوب, right? مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقية. Yeah, النسبة with a فتحة on it. All right. Let's break it down then. وحرف عطف من اسم حرف جر لطيفي اسم مجرور لطيفي مضاف الاستعمالي مضاف إليه. So this is a مضاف إليه. Okay. الفني matches for properties. So this is our صفة. So we can still see the jar majrur continuing. So it's from here to here, then it starts from here to here. الاستعمال الفني الاستعمال للفعل. So you have متعلق الاستعمال للفعل. Right, so this للفعل goes to the usage. Usage of what? Usage of the verb, right? That's what we're talking about. So للفعل وحرف عطف الاسمي connected to الفعل. So we can see that this whole thing is just one giant jar مجرور. That would be our متعلق. Now we have to ask ourselves متعلق to what? We look what comes after it is an اسم. So that makes it our مبتدا. So this whole thing is our متعلق بالخبر where the خبر is محذوف and then قوله is our مبتدا. All right? تعالى, we've talked about تعالى so many times. تعالى فعل ماضي from تعالى يتعالى, right? He is exalted, something like that, right? Yeah. And then you have the statement قوله. So this whole statement becomes what? Becomes the بدل of قوله. ومن لطيف الاستعمال الفني للفعل والاسم this. I can easily replace this whole statement with قوله. So this whole thing becomes our بدل. Or it could be even عطف بيان. It could even be عطف بيان. So بدل or عطف بيان. But in this case, بدل is fine. Yeah. And then, of course, the ayah. You can easily find the ayah, the grammatical breakdown of the ayah, unless you have questions there. Yeah, so you can see only Al-Kashaf gives us headache. The rest of the text is not so difficult. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So then he goes on to say فاستعمل. So استعمل فعل ماضي from استغفر family. So this is our فعل. The فاعل is the inside pronoun هو. استعمل مع الليل. So مع special مضاف. الليل مضاف إليه. Together they form what? The متعلق بالفعل. Right? استعمل ماذا? He used what? الفعل. The verb. So this one is our مفعول به. Right? So استعمل الفعل مع الليل. But we know that this author likes to do متعلق بالفعل مقدم, متعلق بالخبر مقدم. He likes to bring the jar مجرور forward. So you see most of these structures are like this. استعمل مع, استعمل ب, whatever. يعني there's going to be حرف of jar مقدم. Right? So الفعل is our مفعول به. And then لتسكنوا فيه. So again, لتسكنوا فيه, this you can easily replace with الفعل. So this is a بدل. So فاستعمل لتسكنوا فيه. I can just omit this. So this is our بدل. Right? لتسكنوا فيه is our بدل. وحرف عطف مع. So مع الليل مع النهار. So this واو is connecting this part to this part. Right? Again, مع special مضاف. النهار مضاف إليه. So this is again another متعلق بالفعل. الاسم. So استعمل مع الليل الاسم. So this اسم is going back to استعمل. Right? So this is going to be our مفعول به. مفعول به. Right? الاسم. Because it's kind of connected to whatever structure it's happening before. And then مبصرا, same thing like what happened with لتسكنوا. It's a بدل of الاسم. And that's why it's actually, no, yeah. So it's a بدل of الاسم, right? Then you have واو حرف عطف لام, particle of negation. It makes it مجزوم. It makes مضارع مجزوم, and that's why it's يسوي and not يسوي. The ya is been omitted because this is مجزوم, right? ناقص. We're doing revision of ناقص there. So لم يسوي فعل مضارع مجزوم. The فاعل is the inside pronoun هو. بينهما, بين special مضاف. Together they form متعلق.